Hey there, Nick Janithakis here. You're about to watch an update video that I just added to my Build a SAAS App with Flask course, which goes over updating a whole bunch of different Python dependencies, as well as updating a whole bunch of services as well. This course is available on GitHub, by the way. While the version on GitHub isn't the full version of the course, it does give you a pretty decent sample. And this course is available at buildasasapp.flask.com. It is a paid course, just a heads up. I also don't run any ads on my YouTube channel or anything like that. These courses are basically how I can sustain myself a bit. So yeah. Long story short, though, I figured this would be a cool video to release to YouTube because it just gives you an idea of, just going through the process of updating a real world application, and figured, you guys might enjoy taking a look at that. So the video you're about to watch now, I actually recorded it about an hour or two ago, so I'm going to fade that one in. Hey, it's time for another update video, and this time around we're going to go ahead and update all of our packages and services to the latest version, as well as introduce a new tool called Hadolint, which is going to help us lint our Dockerfile. So like usual, go ahead and download the zip file associated to this video and extract it to somewhere in your computer. Then feel free to either follow along here by running all the steps in the README file, where we're basically getting things to a clean slate here up and running. I've already done up to the Docker Compose up here in a separate terminal, just so we can see here that the site is up and running. This is all based off the previous update video. But yes, this video, it's all about updating everything to the latest versions. So let's begin by taking a look here at the Docker Compose YAML file. So that's going to start with us updating both the version of Postgres as well as Redis. So we're running Postgres 13.2 and Redis 6.23. Let's update both of those. So I don't know what the latest version is off the top of my head here, because this is going to be a live style video. And am I recording? Yes, I am. But we are going to go to the hub.docker.com, do a search for Postgres here, and see what we're dealing with. So at the time of making this video, at least, the latest version is 14.1 Bullseye. Now, this is actually really interesting because it looks like Postgres now supports using Debian as a base image instead of Alpine, which I really like, because if we go back to our Docker files over here, we are using Debian Slim. Specifically, the version that we're using is Buster, but now Bullseye is out. So we are going to be updating this as well, but in due time. But that means we should use the same base image here. So we are going to actually use 14.1-Bullseye. And if we check this out here on GitHub, it is using Bullseye Slim, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and change this to be 14.1 Bullseye. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing for Redis here. Let's see what's up in terms of what's available. So just do a search for Redis here. And it looks like the latest version here is 6.26, and we can use Bullseye as well. Hopefully that's also using Slim. Yep, it is. Amazing. Cool. So let's go back to here, and then we'll change this one to be 6.6, and then we'll just use Bullseye here. And that's going to take care of updating both Postgres and Redis. But since we're doing that, we're actually going to have to do a Docker Compose down V, because we are doing a pretty major change to Postgres, and our old volume is not going to work for that. So that's going to clear out our volume here for Postgres. We can see it also did it for Redis as well, but we are in good shape there. So let's see what we're dealing with in terms of git commit wise. We'll do our good old git add -p. Yep, we're going to update Postgres and Redis here. And for a commit message, let's go with update Postgres and Redis versions. Cool. I actually didn't up the project and run the test suite to make sure it still works. Today, I am feeling pretty dangerous. I'm going to go with optimistic git commits to see if everything works, and then we'll do a final test at the end. And if things don't work, we'll go back and just amend our commits. But that's going to take care of updating both Postgres and Redis. Next, let's go to the Docker file, and we're going to update both Node as well as Python to the latest version. Python latest version, I think at the time of making this video, is 3.10.0, but let's double check that one. I just happen to know that from before because I updated a different project. But if we go to Python, let me close this out. We are dealing with 3.11 release candidate. Definitely don't want to mess around with that. Let's stick with the latest stable version, because it's always nice to run stable versions in production. But yeah, we are dealing with 3.10.0 Slim Bullseye. So let's go back to our compose file here, change this over to 3.10.0, and we are using Buster here, so let's change that to be Slim Bullseye. Awesome. And then when it comes to the Node version, we're also going to stick with the latest 14x release, which I have no idea is the latest version now. So let me go to /node, and we will take a look here. So we've got 14.8.1. Is there a Bullseye Slim for this one as well? There is, right over here. So 14.8.1 Bullseye Slim. So 14.8.1 Bullseye Slim. It's also Interesting that they chose to use bullseye slim, whereas the Python-based image uses slim bullseye. So got to be aware of those little changes there. But yes, now we can do a get add p again, and then we'll say update node version as well as Python version. So update Python and node versions. Cool, cool. What else are we doing now? Let's go and start by updating all of our Python versions. And that easiest way to do that one would be to run a Docker compose up, because then we can run, I have another terminal here. Let's see if I go to here, we can see that we do have the outdated command, right? We've seen this one before in previous videos, and that is going to let us know all of our outdated images. So at least everything came up, by the way, which is always nice to see. I actually wonder, does the site still work? At least from loading the page. Cool. So, we are going to run our test suite a little bit later, but hopefully everything still passes. But we will run a pip3 outdated here just to see where we're at in terms of Python packages, because we are using a lot of packages. It's also been a couple of months since we did an update video, so I would imagine there is going to be a number of updates here. So every item that we see here is going to be an update. So let me copy this one over. I guess I can just do a split here just to make it a little bit easier to see both at a time. So basically we can read the stuff on the right, make the changes here on the left. But let's just take this thing alphabetical order and go for that. Just so you know, like the way I'm operating here, because you can't see my eyeball direction, but looking at Alembic here, the left column is what we currently have installed, and the right column is what we want to update to. So in this case with Alembic, we want to update to 1.75, right? Because I'm looking over here. Next up is going to be Celery. We're going to jump to 5.20. That one should also be pretty safe, hopefully. Funny enough, though, I haven't done any of these updates, so hopefully this all works in one shot. I do know there is going to be an issue with WT forms, but that's because someone just reported this in my course a couple of days ago when WT forms released 3.0. Then there is a backwards incompatibility there. So I think it is WT Forms Alchemy. They're importing something that no longer exists in WT Forms. So we're going to have to lock down at WT Forms to 233, which is actually something I did over here, if you want to make things a little bit easier to read. But yes, so that was something I patched into the course last week. Didn't make a video about that one because it was just like this little sample here. But yeah. Let's get there when we get there. So the next one is click. We don't need to worry about this one because we don't have this one defined in our requirements file. That is actually a dependency of Flask that's being installed. Faker is the next one though. So let's see, where is that at here? Faker 8.13 is now 9.81. Then we have Flake 8 is going to be 401. Yes, it is, but where is that one? What am I looking for? I am looking for Flake 8. Flake 8, there we go. Nope, just kidding. Here it is. Yes, 401. So start clearing some of these out. Flask is going to be 202, and I also know Verkzoig is also 202 down here. Yes, there it is, and that one goes away. Flask DB, that's going to be down here. That is 032. Funny enough, I wrote this library. I don't even remember what that change is. So let's check that one out here. That's going to be in GitHub, Flask DB. Let's take a look here at the changelog. Remove $& and template placeholder to avoid certain code editor errors. Yes, okay. So I remember pull request. This was quite some time ago, like 6 months ago, where someone was using PyCharm, I believe, and PyCharm was running like an active linter in the background, and it didn't like that there was a $sign just sitting there in a Python template that wasn't in a string, or a Python file, I should say. So I just made some very minor change there to not have to do that. So basically, it's nothing that's going to change the actual behavior of the library. It just makes things a little more compatible with certain code editors, I suppose. So very super minor change, but that is that. Then we have Flask WTF. That's going to be 0.14.3 to 1.0. Kind of worried about that one, maybe potentially backwards incompatible changes since we're jumping major versions, but we'll see. Pip, don't need to worry about that one. Plug is a subdependency also, don't need to worry about that. PsychoPG2 is going to be updated. This is also subdependency all the way up to here. So we got those going away. Whoops, I think I just got rid of PyTest. There we go. Yeah, keep this one. There we go. PyTest 6.25. Where it is, there it is. And then coverage, also a pretty big major jump here. Hopefully things are still good to go there, we'll see. Setup tools, don't need to worry about that. And SQL Alchemy. So SQL Alchemy is going to be 14.27. SQL Alchemy utils also gets updated to 3.79. Then we have Stripe. I think that's down here somewhere. That is going to be 62.0. Then we have WT Forms, where, yeah, we're just going to have to park on this one because we cannot update WT Forms to 3.0 until WT Forms Alchemy gets a newer version here. So if we go to, I think we're going to do a search for WT Forms Alchemy GitHub. And because I just saw this earlier, where there is an open issue right now, because this is the error that we would get if we tried to update WT Forms to 3.0. We would get this error here where it's like, no module found, WT Forms compat. But yeah, this is happening in this library here. You know, I uploaded it. Hopefully more folks comment on this or upload it, or I don't know. I mean, really good library, super useful, does a lot of great things, but also hasn't been touched in a while, which worries me a little bit. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, just because something hasn't gotten updated frequently doesn't mean it's like dead or doesn't work anymore, because I have a couple of libraries like Flask Static Digest, I don't need to open it, where I just haven't updated it in like 11 months because it works completely fine and there's like nothing new to change. But in this case, yeah, I hope this one gets addressed because it would be nice to update that. Although I don't know if there's anything really super nice about WT Forms 3 in terms of like, you know, end user features. I'm sure there's some good stuff in there. I haven't researched it, but yeah, that's basically gonna update all of our packages here, which is nice. So what we should do now is, let's see, what should we do? Well, we shouldn't commit this yet because we need to generate a new LAC file. So that would be a nice thing to do. Let's do that now. That's just going to be another run command that we can run here, which is going to be run pip3 install. There we go. That's going to take a little bit to run, maybe a couple minutes, not really too sure, but yeah, it's going to generate a LAC file, then we can commit both files and things hopefully will work. But while this is building, let's talk a little bit about Hadolint. So this is actually something that I added to one of my open source projects not too long ago. So if I go to Nicto.j Docker Flask example, I also added it to all the other example apps, by the way. I have other ones for Django Express, Node, etc. They're all there, but if I go to the run script, there is a new command here called Hadolint, and this one is going to run the tool Hadolint with a couple of custom flags. We're actually going to even add one more flag here. And basically, yeah, it's going to lint our Dockerfile. So let me just copy paste this one in here, and we'll go to, whoops, don't want to do that. We want to go to our Dockerfile. No, we don't. We want to go to the run file. Also, let me get rid of this thing because we don't need to see that anymore. Where does this one go? I think it goes over here. And my thought process here, like where to put these functions. Well, we have Flake 8 going around, which is linting our Python code base. So let's also lint our Dockerfile over here. And there's another flag that I want to add here, which is going to be tstyle. We'll go over the stuff in a second here. But oh, that actually finished building pretty fast. So let's take a break here from Hadolint and just finish up this package commit here. But if I do a git status here, we can see that both our LAC file and the regular one are good to go. So let's do a git add on what? Just requirement star on both of them. Then we'll do this and be like, you know, update Python package dependencies, Python package dependencies. Cool. Hopefully that actually works. But going back to Hadolint over here, we have this thing set up and we can now run it as a new run script command. We can see run Hadolint and we shouldn't get any warnings. Yeah. So our Dockerfile is actually in pretty good shape here, but this is interesting. Like, for example, did you know that if you put in like an underscore as a label key and you rerun this, then it actually will throw an error that says, by the way, invalid key label. Why? Because when it comes to defining Docker labels, you can't have underscores. They just get ignored. You could use a hyphen though if you'd like. But there's a lot of other things too that we could have potentially have done like incorrectly, I guess you can see over here. Yeah, this tool is open source. And if I Google for, I don't know, I think it was just Hadolint. Like, I think it's just Hadolint on GitHub. But yeah, it's like a really popular tool. And I've actually done a dedicated video about this one, which I will link in the references in the README file if you want to learn a little bit more about it. But, you know, it will check 100 different things in your Dockerfile. You know, like for example, if we didn't version lock our image here, it would warn us about that. So, you know, just to demonstrate this one really quickly, you know, if we cut all of that out and just did this and then rerun Hadolint here, I would imagine it's going to blow up about that one. It'd be like, by the way, like you should really tag, you know, your base images like that. So again, it's like a nice tool to have, right? Less things in your brain is always good when it comes to like, I don't want to call them like tedious things, but things that could totally be automated by a machine. So yes, we've got that going on here. Let's just do a git log to make sure we're in good shape here. Actually, I think there was one more thing we need to add to the run script. When it comes to running Hadolint, it's like a really good idea to drop this one into your CI setup here. So we will run Hadolint over here, and it's pretty cool. We can actually run this one before we do any time-sensitive information, or things like, building all of our Docker images takes like, potentially a couple of minutes, right? We can run Hadolint as well as shell check. We've gone over this one in previous videos, but yeah, we can run this one very quickly. If there's an issue there, it's gonna, get fixed right away. But going back here, this flag over here just makes it so that if there is any style-related warnings, like the one that we saw over here when it comes to using invalid keys, you can see my prompt, it turned red here. That's because that command actually failed with an execode of a non-zero code. Whereas when it's white, that means it failed with, it didn't fail at all in this case. But if we're running this in CI and we have like an invalid label, we want CI to break. So we want Hadolint itself to report an execode that's non-zero. So that's what the T here is. It's basically saying if anything is like a style type of warning or higher, like a style, info, warning, error, etc., it's going to throw those errors. So that's why I have that. I don't have that up in the example app because the other example app, because I just forgot to put it there, but that is really important. I do that in all of my bigger projects that I'm working on. But now that we have this set up here, everything is saved and good to go. We can do our git status here. Let's do a git add p. There's our new Hadolint function. Yes, there we go, and there it is. And then we'll do add Hadolint. Cool. Do I want to do that now? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay. I was going to say, like, should we have updated maybe our node packages before adding Hadolint? But really, it's not super important in the order that we do these things. But we do have a package.json file here. And yeah, so there's some big things here potentially. Like, for example, are we just going to like update Bootstrap to 5.0 or 5.1 or whatever they're at now? Answer to that is definitely not in this video. And I'm sort of holding off on this one for a while because, well, one, it's not too bad to get Bootstrap updated from 4 to 5 in terms of like, what do you need to change in, like this file here, or other things like, importing different Bootstrap files in your SAAS file here. But the real issue is, we've got a lot of HTML templates, like Jinja templates specifically, and there's a lot of changes between Bootstrap 4 and 5. So it would come down to like just changing basically every single Jinja template that we have to use the new Bootstrap 5 classes and HTML structure instead. Now you might be thinking like, Nick, wouldn't that be a great idea to do? And totally agreed, except that I still do have plans to completely rewrite this course from ground zero instead of just appending more update videos. And when I do that, I am very much going to be using Tailwind instead of Bootstrap. Now, I still think Bootstrap is a very good tool set to use and nothing wrong with it. There are many like, $100 million companies using Bootstrap, but I don't know. I just feel like Tailwind meshes a little bit more with the way I like to operate, where it's like you create these abstractions when you want to, not have them imposed upon you from the beginning. But that's also very personal preference, right? But long story short, that's why I haven't updated Bootstrap to 5 in quite some time. I have done previous update videos about that where we talked into a little bit more detail, but yes. But long story short, where I'm going with this one is that's not going to be changed for Bootstrap. We will potentially change all of these dependencies if there's newer versions out. But these dev dependencies, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, it's a Webpack, right? When Webpack works, you keep it working. Because if you just go in here and just decide to update all of these things, suddenly you start getting some crazy errors. And like, before you know it, you're spending like 15 million years trying to debug why Webpack isn't working. Now, I am a really big fan of keeping dependencies up to date, but these are less important than these because these dependencies is really important to keep up to date because usually these are like end user libraries that you're using as like application features. And more importantly, these are being served to, visitors of your site. So there could be security vulnerabilities that need to be patched by updating. Whereas these dev dependencies are like every single one of them here, it's related to Webpack in some way. So this is basically the only goal of having all this stuff is to produce CSS and JavaScript bundles as well as doing processing on other files. It's not like executing this JavaScript code in your browser that visitors are going to be seeing. So that's why I'm okay with keeping these at a lower version because it's like, if our Webpack setup is working perfectly, then why screw with it? Like there's no reason to really change that. Unless we decide to start doing different things in a Webpack setup that no longer work, or we want to add some new stuff, but we're not doing that. So all this stuff is really good. Really reluctant to change this only because the Webpack and Node community in general, like they move pretty fast. And I don't know, it's very easy to get stuck in like dependency hell where you're just constantly fixing new things based on like things that don't need to be fixed, I guess, in this case for us specifically. But yes, instead of rambling more, let's Docker compose up the project, because we are going to have to run now the same outdated command that we did before, but we're going to run it for JavaScript instead for Node here. So let's go to courses over here, and then we'll just run yarn outdated instead. And this should produce potentially many different changes. Okay, cool. There actually are quite a lot. Most of these, though, are related to dev dependencies. So like all this Babel stuff and auto prefixer. But it looks like Font Awesome, that did get bumped up from 5.15.2 to 5.15.4. So let's do that one. It's an easy one, hopefully. Then what else do we have here? We've got Bootstrap again. I know 5.1 would be great to have, but let's not do that quite yet. jQuery 3.6.0. Okay, cool. Let's try that one. Seems like it should be fairly stable. jQuery's API is really good at this point, like very stable, been around for a very long time. Anything else here that I'm missing that is over here besides Bootstrap? So basically Popper, Moment, Flatpicker. Do you see them? I don't. So I think we're actually good in that regard. So that is going to be that. Why did I do that? Because now we need to run the other run command that does a run yarn install. So we run yarn install. We can see that one over here. And that is going to create the lock file, or the yarn lock file specifically for our front end dependencies. And with any luck, once that is done, then we can up the project, make sure it all still works in the browser. We'll, do some subscription tests, and we'll run our test suite and all linters and make sure everything passes. And hopefully that will be it for this video. But we will see, because you never know with this stuff. Updating dependencies could potentially break things. We didn't even run any tests or anything like that, even updating all of our Python packages. So that's all going to be determined, right, to see if that stuff works. Now, is there anything else I can talk about while this is building? Let's see. Yeah, I guess on the topic of just like rewriting the Flask course from ground zero, like why isn't it done yet? Yeah, I guess it is due mainly to changes recently in my life where I've been doing a lot more full-time type of work where it's very hard for me to find time now to do courses. I still love doing them. And when it comes to things like updating Bootstrap 4 to 5, if that takes me like 15 hours to do, I think it's more beneficial for me to spend those 15 hours like rewriting the course instead of like doing that type of update that feels like sort of temporary anyways, since we're gonna, swap that out to use Tailwind. But okay, cool. Everything is working here. In terms of that, at least, let's up the project and see if it even ups. Because you never know with this Webpack stuff. I mean, we change one little thing and the world breaks. But in this case, I think we're good because, updating a tiny little patch release on Font Awesome and jQuery should be pretty good. But yeah, everything is still working there. Cool. If I let me start closing some tabs. Go in here, everything is still looking good. Let me go to private window just to double check. Yep, everything is still loading. Font Awesome, cool. What am I doing? Let's log in as the dev user. Ooh. Oh yeah, you know what happened there? So since we upped everything with a new version of Postgres, our database got reset. So we need to run the usual commands that we like to run here, which is, well, let's go to the README file so we can copy paste them, right? It's like these commands here where we need to run a db reset there. There we go. That's going to finish pretty fast. And then the next command, we'll just do an add all, which is going to, Flask, add all, right? Flask add all, there we go. This is going to, as you probably know, it's going to add all sorts of different fake data to our database, a whole bunch of different users and invoices and bets, just so we're not working with a clean slate with an empty database, because, hey, who wants to work with an empty database? Yeah, it's really nice to generate fake data. So this one takes a little bit, right? 15, 20 seconds, something like that. Eventually, it's going to dump out hundreds or potentially thousands of random items here. We can see 100 users, and there we go. Next, let's run Flake 8 just to make sure things still work in terms of linting, even though we didn't even change any Python code. Cool. Now let's run PyTest. Now, I did move over my existing env file from the previous update video, where I do have my email credentials and my Stripe keys as well. Now, I tend to re-roll my Gmail passwords, not frequently, but I don't know, every couple of months. And I think I may have changed that password So I don't know if all the tests are going to pass on my end here. If they don't, there's going to be a handful of failures that are related to not being able to log into my email account, which is then going to be totally expected because if I put in my correct password, it will actually work. But let's see where we're at here because maybe it will all pass. I'm just not sure what password is in there. Yeah, it's looking like we're getting some errors here. Failures, username and password not accepted. Yeah, so those failures are totally normal. But let's see if everything else passes. So yeah, just those two failures related to not being able to log in. The warnings, can't really do too much about them. This is all happening with external libraries that need to be updated for Flask 2.0. This one is still not updated yet for Flask login, and I think maybe debug toolbar one is still messed up, but yeah, it is what it is, but they're just warnings for now, so we're in good shape. But yeah, test suite is still working, which is very nice to see. Now we should be able to log in. Nice, so everything is good to go here. What should we do? Well, let's try subscribing to, I don't know, the gold plan. Don't have any coupons now, 42. There's our fake card information sometime in the future with a CVC of whatever. And we are going to sign up with Stripe for this subscription to the gold plan. That seems to be pretty good so far. Let's go to our change plan and we'll just change maybe to the platinum plan instead. How's that working? Cool. Debug toolbar also still working quite nicely. Nice. Can we cancel? Well, let's try updating the payment subscriptions. We'll just say that's our name for now. Maybe a new expiration date. Card number. Oh yeah. So we need a little bit more 42s there. That makes sense. Name on card. Awesome. That is all good to go. Let's maybe cancel our subscription. Nice. Yeah. So this is all working. There's our dashboard. All of our users are over here. We just click into any one of them. Yeah, this is all looking pretty good. So, I'm not going to every single page here because I'm pretty confident in the test suite, right? The only thing we're really not testing in the test suite is the Stripe stuff because those are mocked out. But everything else, we have close to like 100% test coverage. And I guess that's the power of having a lot of tests and not just like meaningless tests. Like these are all exercising valuable components of like things that we're doing, right? Like make sure if you go to the admin users that we can see users and et cetera, et cetera. But let's see, just to make sure we can do some JavaScripty things. So I'm deleting Emily, Nunn, and Taylor there. So let's delete them and see what happens. There we go. Yeah, they're all good. They are gone. So everything is sorted here where admins are sorted first, but that all looks good, I think. Yeah. Cool. So that is going to do it for this video, I believe. When the next update video will come, that really depends, right? Usually it's every couple of months, but it really depends on what's happening with the community, right? If a really big version of Flask or something else comes out with some great new features, then for sure I'm going to be making an update sooner than later. And yeah, when it comes to the big rewrite, that's going to depend on just having the time to be able to pull all that together because, yeah, it takes like 3-4 full-time months to make a course of this magnitude. Between creating the example application, extracting all that out of patterns, like from real life applications. And then you know how it is, like breaking up the app into stages. And then I think I'm going to do a lot more live coding in that version of the course. So yep, lots of stuff. And by the way, by the time that you watch this video, there are going to be all reference links and video timestamps all ready to go. You made it to the end. Nice. So if you have any questions about anything, please let me know in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer all of them. Also, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up because it helps a lot. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next video.